everyone, welcome back to another Rebor review. Today we're going to take a look at something a little bit different from them. It's their Summer Kisses and Winter Tears Diorama based 2-pack. It's been a really long time since Rebor has done any bases. Back in the day when they started, most of their figures came with a really nice display base, and I always said it, they do some of the best bases in the business, and then they kind of got away from it for a while. But now they released this 2-pack, Summer Kisses and Winter Tears. On the front right here, we have Summer Kisses, which is the summer version of the base. And in the back over here, we got a picture of the Winter Tears, which is the winter version, forest fire base. So yeah, these things are pretty cool. They're meant to supplement your collection. I ended up getting mine from Big Bad Toy Store. The 2-pack retails for just over $33. I'll leave a link down below, the Big Bad Toy Store. I know Everything Dinosaur just got these in. I'll also leave a link to them if you're outside the US. But yeah, it's pretty cool that Rebor is giving us an option to buy bases separately. It's something they should have been doing for a while because the figures are pretty cool, but I just think putting them on display base really adds something to the display. Now, if you look at the box of mine, it is just a little bit beat up, and that is cause for some concern. We'll get into that a little bit later, but inside the box, you do get the typical black foam insert from Rebor, which is supposed to keep all the contents nice and secure. You see both bases slide in right here. I obviously already removed them for this review, but I just don't think that foam was enough, and we're going to get into that very shortly. And here are both bases of the packaging. In the front right here, we have Winter Tears, and back here is Summer Kisses. And both bases are really nice. They're made out of a polystone material, so they have some definite heft to them. But like I was saying, with the box being damaged, a major issue that a lot of people are receiving these bases is they are arriving damaged. And now, when I saw the damage on my box, I was expecting the worst, but thankfully the damage is very minimum. Both bases, unfortunately, arrived with some damage. Let's take a quick look at Summer Winter Tears. I got a little bit of a chip on the log right here. The way the light's reflecting off, you can't really see it, but it's right here. And there's just a little bit of paint rub on the top. Now, that is not a big deal. I can easily touch that up. But on Summer Kisses right here, you can see some more chips on the base and on top of the log. The whole base is sculpted in a very, rough texture. So even if you have some chips and pieces missing, if you're slightly handy with a paintbrush, you can easily touch them up, and you won't even notice it once you do that. But it is kind of unfortunate that they are arriving. Most of them are arriving damaged. This is the first time I've ever received any product from Rebor damaged, so they must have got messed up in transit or something. I remember back in the day when I reviewed the Killer Queens, my boxes looked like they got hit by a friggin' bus from Everything Dinosaur. And I know it wasn't them, because Everything Dinosaur is absolutely excellent on how they pack their figures. It must have arrived during transport to the retailers, and I believe the same thing happened to these bases, which is unfortunate, but it's not like a giant deal breaker. I am quite enjoying these bases. So let's take a quick look at all the fine details on these bases before we start throwing figures up on them. Like I said, they may have a polystone material. They are quite hefty, and true to Rebor fashion, they are beautifully sculpted bases. I really miss bases from Rebor. I use them all the time in my dinosaur photography because the bases are that good. So this is Winter Tears, and you can see you have a nice muddy base for it. You have a burnt tree stump, and like I said, it could be winter time, it could be after a forest fire. You have a lot of options with this display base. You get some fallen logs along the base and some rocks. It's all done in a nice glossy coat for the rocks. You can see all that beautiful texture all around. We got a rotted log right here that is also very nicely done. Let's get my camera to focus in on it. It's being really temperamental today. You can see more broken branches and twigs spread out all through the ground. So yeah, a very nicely detailed base. I am quite in love with these. I think they're just an excellent supplement to your collection. You got a piece of bark right here. Look at all that nice nice texture in all over this thing. This thing is just really a nice work of art. You know, for like 33 bucks, you know, it's just over like, you know, 16 change per base, and they definitely are worth the money. Let's take a look at the log. Some nice paint apps, dry brushing. You know, Rebor really went all out on these. And let's take a look at the top of the log. Yes, you can see a little bit of that paint rub on the top right here, but I actually will be fixing that very shortly after the review. And look at the bottom of the base. The bottom of the base is not as refined and finished as some of Rebor's other bases. I'll just pull one here really quick. This is the one obviously came with the Dilophosaurus. They had a much nicer finish on the bottom. I kind of wish they just added like that smooth coat they did with their earlier bases, but really not a big deal. You're not going to be displaying these, you know, like this, looking at the bottom. Just something to note. And now let's take a look at Summer Kisses. This is my favorite of the two, just because of all the bright green on it. It looks really, really natural. You can see some like moss and grass sculpted all over the base. Some more fallen twigs. Like they're both exactly the same base, but they're both painted very differently. What makes them stand out from each other. Another look at the rotted log. There's some nice fresh wood paint. The bark is all nicely done. You got some nice moss effects on the rocks around it. Like all the wood looks very, very natural. Like I always say, Rebor is absolutely the best in the business when it comes to the bases. Probably followed very, very closely by Nanmu. Look at all those rocks. Moss is absolutely great looking. Take a look at the rotted stump. That's nicely done. You can see the top has a nice fresh break on it. And speaking of fresh breaks, there's a little bit more of the damage. And then going down to the base of the logs, the rocks are all done a nice glossy coat, all nice moss effects all over it. Like all in all, this base is just absolutely beautiful, very, very natural and lifelike. Like I said, these things are just great supplements for your collection. Same thing on the bottom. This one just really not a super, you know, refined finished bottom. Like I said, just wish it had a little bit more of that, you know, wherever they put on the bottom of their original base, it just made it look a lot nicer and slide around a little bit better on your shelf. But all in all, I think these bases are just absolutely fantastic. How many times I've said all in all during this? If you're playing a drinking game right now, you're probably smashed. And now let's throw a couple figures up on the base and show you how they look. Now, the main reason you're going to get one of these is if you own Rebor's biggest hit yet, their Kiss TRex. We all know about some of the stability issues with Rebor's bipedal figures, so this is a great way to keep your figure stable on the shelf. Thankfully, with this release, they gave you that clear plastic support, just in case you didn't want to opt in for the base. But the way it goes on here, the kneecap is pushing right along the log, which will keep it stable on your shelf. And I have to say, it looks absolutely amazing on this display base. Like I said, they're nice and natural looking, and it just really adds a lot of character to your displays, and it's just so awesome looking. I really miss Rebor's base. I'm so glad they did something like this. It just looks absolutely great from every angle, just all around. Just a great display piece. And you know, you're not gonna break the bank getting these. Like I said, they're gonna cost you like, you know, just 16 bucks a piece. Obviously, the 2-packs, and it costs you just over $33, and they're definitely worth it. And let's throw a Rebor figure up on the Winter Tears base that is notoriously known for having stability issues. The Killer Queen. And this, if you own any of these figures, the plain variant and the jungle, you know the woes that came with this figure. They did not last long on your shelf before they started warping and falling over. So, you know, a couple years too late, but we finally got a base that can support the Killer Queen in all her glory. You can see how the leg is pushing up against that tree trunk to support her. Now, you know, back in the day, when Rebor was still doing bases, you did get this 2-piece base right here. This came with their Dilophosaurus pair, and it was kind of like a cheap workaround if you owned the Killer Queens to put them up on this base. Same thing. The Rex is resting up against the tree trunk, but the sucky part is, I always said it, when the Dilophosaurus pair came out, Rebor should have sold these two bases separately for people that didn't get the Dilophosaurs or wanted to display their Dilophosaurs on their base, and they could have sold them separately so people could have displayed their Killer Queens without them, face planting off their shelves and just getting all damaged up. Like, I have not had these on display for a couple years now, simply for the fact that they warped and they kept falling over. So I'm glad Rebor came out with these bases that can definitely help these figures stand up. And I'm probably going to pick up another pair of them because I really, really like them a lot. But, it is an option. Let's get this old base out of the way and get the queen back up on the newer base. There we go. So yeah, it definitely looks really, really nice on the base. Now, the best part about these bases is you're not limited to Rebor figures. The only limit is your imagination. They work so well with so many different figures from other companies. You can literally throw up anything that will fit on the base, and it's going to look absolutely fantastic. I am so happy with these bases. Yes, they arrived a little bit damaged, but that can be easily overlooked. The price is affordable, around $33 for 2 bases. They're very, very lifelike. They're beautifully sculpted and painted, and they add a lot of character to your display shelf. I'm really happy with them, and like I said earlier, I'll probably pick up a couple more because I like them that much. Just all the figures I threw up on them look absolutely fantastic. Definitely going to be using both of these in a lot of my Dinosaur toy photography, and I just think it's great that Rebor finally released bases singly. I hope they continue the trend in the near future. If you pick these up, you will not be disappointed in them. Like I said earlier, they are available at Big Bad Toy Store and Everything Dinosaur. Links are down below in the description. So that will do it for the review. I do have some new Jurassic World stuff coming in this weekend, so hopefully I'll be getting to those. It's the 2-pack with Ian Malcolm, the Dumb Locust, and what's called Owen Grady and the Parasaurolophus. So yeah, really, really digging these bases. And if you picked them up, let me know in the comments if yours arrived damaged. I've been seeing a lot of people online saying that theirs did. I just want to get a general idea, just for me, to see how many of these ended up damaged. So that will do it for the review. As always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.